Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Collecting Vintage Unopened podcast. My name is Brandon Stewart. This is a podcast that's devoted to discussing anything and everything as it pertains to the collecting of vintage unopened sports cards and non-sports cards. So those of you that are box collectors, wax pack collectors, rack pack collectors, whatever, however you collect unopened, this is a podcast that really relates to this area of the hobby. Of the sports card hobby. So today I'm going to be discussing, it's just me today, no guest today, but I'm going to be talking about something I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's striking a balance between quality and quantity in your unopened collection. Because if you're like me, most of us don't have an endless supply of funds, right? Most of us don't have unlimited money that we can spend, especially on something as frivolous as pieces of cardboard, right? As awesome as they are, right? They are just pieces of cardboard. We all have obligations and whatnot, and mortgages to pay and things of that nature. And so we have to strike a balance, right? Because some of the items that we want to pursue sometimes can be rather pricey. And there are some really, really awesome, high quality, unopened material, unopened products out there. And if you just peruse an auction catalog, we're in auction season now. So Memory Lane's having auction, having a big auction. REA, Robert Edward Auctions, is having a big sports auction. It's auction season, and just a quick look through a catalog, and you will see some amazing and potentially very expensive unopened material. And so how do we strike this balance between having a quality collection, but also having a fair quantity or larger amount of items in our collection? It's a tough balance to strike. You definitely don't want to just focus on quality, I would say, because if you just have really high quality, expensive items, you're probably not going to have very much in your collection, right? Again, assuming that you don't have unlimited funds. If you focus on just expensive items, you're going to have a lot less purchases. You're going to have a lot less mail days. However, if the goal is just quantity, that's also very problematic, because if you end up with 12 cases of 88 Donruss cello packs, not to pick on anybody who likes 88 Donruss, it's all fine and good, but if you end up with 12 cases of this crap, yes, you have a lot of unopened material, but what do you really have in regards to a collection that is desirable and something that, if need be, you could sell quickly to get funds if needed, right? Things happen in life. Sometimes we have to sell things unexpectedly, and it's good to be able to have some things that are of high quality, because high quality items are more desirable than mass produced unopened that is still out there in abundance, right? So again, not to pick on 88 Donruss, but it's the go-to item, at least in the unopened community. It's one of the big jokes, 88 Donruss, just because it is. I think they're still printing it, to be honest with you. But what I would say is, and what I try to do, and this just works for me, it may not work for others, try to strike a balance by having high quality target items, right? So for example, some of you collect specific players out there, right? Some of you I've had on this podcast, Mike Cerencione, who's a Tom Seaver collector, right? I've had Brent on this podcast, who is a Nolan Ryan unopened collector, right? Some people focus on certain players, some people focus on specific years of unopened. However you define what a high quality target item is for you, focus on specific items that are of higher quality, more expensive, while at the same time having targets that are decidedly less expensive, right? So one of my passion projects is 1977 Topps rack packs. Okay, those are very expensive, right? And if I just focused on 1977 Topps rack packs, I wouldn't have that many packs in my collection, right? And so lately, I've actually been looking for some 1982 Topps rack packs that have the cardboard header, which is a much rarer type of 1982 Topps rack pack compared to others. Okay, so I have this passion project they're expensive, they're tough to find, but I also have a project and again, this is much more recent. This is something that I've started to work on a little bit with my collection. I've decided to pursue some of these less expensive 82 tops racks that have the cardboard header, right? And what's great is if you decide to pursue a high quality item, right? If you go after a high quality item at one of these upcoming auctions and you lose out on it, happens all the time. There has to be winners at auctions, there have to be losers in auctions, right? The great thing about that is if you do lose out on a high quality item, there's still a lot of other mid-range quality items that you can pursue, assuming you have other projects, right? Assuming you have targets for your collection. And so to me, losing out on an item isn't the end of the world. It's disappointing sometimes, but that also means we have money to spend on something else. So if you're just focused on one year or one player and you don't get that item, well, then you're going to have to wait around till the next auction or until you see another one, which could be a long time depending on what item it is you're looking for. So have multiple projects. It also just helps to keep the hobby fresh, which is very important, because the hobby can grow stale if you don't diversify, if you don't collect differently than you did in the past. Your collection can stagnate a little bit. And so it's important to try to avoid doing that. And there's a way you can avoid doing that that's fun, right? And the great thing about less expensive items too is you have more mail days, right? Who doesn't love mail days, right? Mail days are the greatest when you have an unopened item that's coming. My wife knows the mail days when I have a rack pack coming because I'm pacing around the house. It's like Christmas Eve. I'm pacing around, waiting for Santa Claus to come down the chimney. I'm twitchy, I'm anxious. I'm checking, I'm looking out the window, trying to, is the UPS or USPS truck nearby? I'm sure my neighbors think I'm an absolute lunatic, but that's okay. I mean, they're not wrong, but the point here is that with, not low quality items, but with mid-tier quality items, right? Some of these secondary projects that you can work on while you're trying to pursue other high quality items simultaneously, right? So you get more mail days, right? If you just collect, so for example, if you were just pursuing, let's name something really difficult, 1961 tops rack packs, okay? There's one of those right now up for auction with Mile High for their December, the auction ends December 4th. You should check out their stuff. They've got some great stuff if you haven't already. But if you just pursue 1961 tops rack packs, well, I've got news for you. You're going to get about 1 or 2 chances every few years to get one. And if you miss out, you're going to be out of luck and your collection won't be growing. So unless you're really okay with waiting a long time for some items, which is fine, right? It's good to have other projects too. So, and ultimately this balance between quantity and quality, I think will be struck if you can adopt a similar approach with your collection. This is just what my approach. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but I've been thinking about this for a while, so I decided to do an episode on this. So let me know what you guys think. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments. I appreciate all the support. Hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, everybody.